Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the Daily 3. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes. Take it away, Sam.
You got it. The Minnesota Twins are still rolling. They're playing your Detroit Tigers, who are not putting up a huge fight. But last night, they were pretty scrappy, actually. They came back from a 4-0 deficit, tied the game at 4, only for the Twins to walk them off in the 9th on an RBI ground out to shortstop. In and out of the shortstop's glove. Twins get the winning run, win 5-4. So here's the record, Ron. 26-16, 10 games over 500. Next 11 games are all against the Tigers and the Royals. So after these 11, what is the record going to be?
After these 11, so I'm going to just go with the Tigers first. I said the Tigers would be 4-1. That's what I said. I said this 5-game series will be 4-1. That could have been the one last night. I think this gives them momentum into this like I said, 4-1. I think the Tigers will get one because it's just a lot. Baseball is not a game. It's hard to sweep. I mean, you can do it in 3, but it's tough. Teams figure each other out. Pitchers are hard to, have a whole pitching staff for an entire series. Just be lights out. There's always a hiccup. But right now, the Twins are showing the bats. I think that's the key. No matter how scrappy a team is, their bats are still working. They're still smart on the base path, and they're aggressive when there's mistakes that are made. I was in Detroit last summer for the Twins-Tigers game. I think the Twins won that one. They did like the international rules because it was like either a doubleheader or a makeup game. I can't remember what happened, but I know they put a guy at second. Tigers made a mistake then. I think they dropped like a simple infield pop fly. Nobody could figure out where it was at. Twins win. So when you look at this, I think over this 11, for sure the Tigers 4-1. And then, I mean, I say the next 11, it's bullish, but I think they go 8-3. Like this AL Central is really just handing it over to them. It's not even halfway through the season, so I am scared to really jump on this train, but I think they can go 8-3 over this next one. But the biggest key is like PJ Fleck always says, and every coach would always say this, one game at a time. The next game is the Detroit Tigers. This is the 0-1 or the 0-0 Detroit Tigers championship game. They got to take the next game as it comes and then not to look too far ahead, because now everybody's saying like, oh man, they're in the playoffs. So, who are they going to play? Is it the Yankees in the first play-in? Is it, let's hold on, people. They can do it, but 8-3 in the next 11 is my opinion.
And that would put them at 34-19. Not a bad record. All right. The Detroit Lions are scheduled to be the preseason Hard Knocks team on HBO. Love watching Hard Knocks. But last year, remember, they introduced in-season Hard Knocks. And this year, it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. So, Ron, which Hard Knocks team is more compelling to you? The Detroit Lions or the Arizona Cardinals?
The Lions. I mean, it's the Lions, and simple for the fact that everybody said how they sucked. And so now you're going to get to see Dan Campbell really put his team together and what he says. You're going to see the hard-nosed Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody said he looks like a dollar value. What's his name? Bosa. He has that 97 on. He looks like one of the Bosa brothers, but like a generic version of him. When you think about what they do and what the Lions do and how, they want to show the city off and how blue collar it really is. Some of the community stuff they're going to do. I think I'm compelled to see this. I'm compelled to, and one, because the Vikings, they have to play them twice, but I'm compelled to see, do the players like really take to what he's doing? Does that, yell, rah, rah, rah? Does that really happen? And does that really get the players going? Like, are they on board for what Dan Campbell's trying to get out of them? The Arizona Cardinals in season, we'll see. I think some of the turmoil with Kyler Murray this preseason, wiping all the Cardinal stuff from his Instagram account, didn't know if he's going to be a Cardinal, wasn't happy. Now they bring in Brown at receiver. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to be suspended, and then he's going to be back for week 7 or 8 or whatever, depending on how that goes. So there's a little bit of intrigue there to like, is Kyler Murray the guy? And then everybody, I put Kirk Cousins above Kyler Murray. So again, I am kind of want to see that. Like, what does Kyler Murray do? Is he a leader? Does he really seem better? Or is Kirk Cousins going to step his voice up and all of a sudden become this guy this year because Kevin O'Connell's giving him a voice and saying, hey, the mic's yours. Lead this team. Get some swag about it, but lead the team. But no, I want to see the Lions. I want to see what happens in training camp. I want to see, Aiden Hutchinson. Can he change the mindset of this defense with, like I said, sometimes it takes a guy. It takes a guy to really get nasty and gritty and get the rest of the team to follow. Is he that guy? So I want to see.
My 2 cents on this is that there's a lot of pressure on Arizona this year. There's not as much pressure on Detroit. They're not really expected to win. Arizona needs to win for Cliff Kingsbury's sake, for Kyler Murray's sake. So if they're going to be followed in season on HBO, and if things are crumbling, I think that could get very interesting. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Arizona on this one. All right. This is the topic that has, taken over your Twitter for the past 4 days. Now the NFL Network has picked up on it, probably because they saw Shannon Sharp tweeting at you.
Correct.
They post a video. Kyle Brandt claims that Kirk Cousins is an MVP candidate. I mean, that's music to your ears, isn't it, Ron?
Yeah, he called him a dark horse. And we all know dark horses can come and win. Look at the Kentucky Derby. Hey, dark horses can win. It only takes a simple glimpse of hope, a simple light to say, hey, there's light at the end of this tunnel. I'm going to keep digging and digging and digging. And so if Kirk Cousins comes out on fire, when you look at those first 6 games, we met with the Vikings brass yesterday, and we got to hear from the top guys like Martin Nance, all the way down to, the sales team. And they were talking about this Tottenham Stadium and how they called the Vikings as they were building the stadium because they wanted to make it. It's not going to be like Wembley. It's not going to be a soccer style stadium. So it's going to have a football field. So now you get Kirk Cousins out there in a football style field overseas. Then you get Kirk Cousins against the Lions and the Bears. The Eagles, we'll see. I think it's going to be a offensive back and forth with that one. It's whose defense is going to be able to at least stop somebody. So, and then, again, you have the Packers. So that's going to be a shootout as well. So Kirk Cousins and then you have the Dolphins. So Kirk Cousins starting out could have an awesome 6 game. I mean, if he can get 3 or 4 300-yard games in there to start the season, hey, that light opens up a little bit bigger. And he goes from just M to MV because it's there. Most valuable. We don't know what yet, though. Is he the most valuable quarterback to the team? Is he the most valuable person in the locker room? Is he the most valuable father to his family? By week 17, we're going to know if that P has made his way, and he's either the MVP. Who knows? He might get MIP, most improved player. I mean, because if he all of a sudden kills it and has one of those 40-2 seasons where it's 40 touchdowns with 2 interceptions, his QBR, because Sam says his QBR isn't great, his QBR goes up. Because he's making better decisions.
Oh, man. You went there.
If he's making better decisions, QBR goes up. His passer rating's at 110. Hey, he could be MIP as well. So, yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is a dark horse MVP. I think he could do it. It's there. But that first 6 is going to be the key. I always break it down. There's going to be a 6-game season when it comes to this team. So I'm going to look forward to every pocket of 6. Of what that's going to look like every 6 weeks, 17 games, 18 weeks. What does each 6 weeks look like for the Vikings?
Yeah. And I'm not going to completely disagree with you here because look at some of these quarterbacks that have made Super Bowls before. I like to think of them as once in a blue moon quarterbacks like Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Joe Flacco, Cam Newton. They put it all together one year where all the stars aligned. And I think that if you play out Kirk Cousins over 10 different seasons, and this is his 8th year as a starter, it's going to happen at some point. If you give him enough time, enough chances to have that type of year, it's not impossible. And if he wouldn't have to improve drastically. I think that Kirk Cousins shows his best self in about, half of the games typically. Then he's kind of got medium Kirk, and he's got bad Kirk. If he can have good Kirk, 12, 13, 14 games in the season, we might be looking at a 40 touchdown kind of guy. And then I think the conversation is real. I think a lot has to fall in line. The coach has to be really good. Players have to stay healthy. Offensive line has to protect. A lot has to happen. But that, again, is why he's a once in a blue moon quarterback when everything comes together.